I've not turned this on in like a decade.
Oh, it's not going to turn on anymore.
Let's see. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, we are back with another huge game collection.
Wow.
This is our Nintendo DS collection. Again,
it's big.
Somehow over 100 games, and we got hardware as well. You guys liked our 3DS collection videos so much, we just thought we'd keep doing this.
Yeah, I mean, we both worked at Nintendo from, let's see, you started in 2007.
Yes.
And we both left in 2022. So we didn't see the whole generation of the DS.
Right.
But like half of it is just me, you know, being a fan. I was working at other places in the industry. So I'd say this is more like equal first-party Nintendo and third-party games.
Yeah, yeah.
And just going through it all, like, man, the DS had such an amazing lineup. This is such a legendary system.
Amazing system.
And we've got some really cool stuff. We've got signed games, sealed games, rare games. So why don't we just start going through it all one by one?
Right. And we were just looking at this massive Pokemon section.
This whole first stack is all Pokemon.
It's ridiculous.
So Pokemon Heart Gold, there's also Soul Silver, we'll look at that in a second, came in this great thick box because it had the Pokewalker inside.
That's right.
Which is like a god tier accessory.
Bring
it
that back.
I think this is also my favorite instance of a Pokemon game, Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Okay.
There's just something about this that I really, really love.
Pretty amazing.
So I do have two of these. One of these is sealed. One of these is the one that I actually played back when it first came out. The other one is sealed. And I'm not going to be opening up the box to find out which is which. You don't know until you open it up. I'm trying to be a little gentle with these now because I think these are a little valuable.
They're lucrative now.
And then we have the exact same thing with Soul Silver. One of these is yours.
One of these is mine.
One of these is the one that you played, and then the other one is the one that I had because I was the PR lead for this game. And that was the cool thing of Nintendo at that time. It was if you were involved in a game or you were in our department, they would say, "Here, have a game.
Get one.
Yes, please."
And again, you and I were dividing it up. You played Heart Gold and I played Soul Silver.
Now, this is a special one.
This is very special.
So we have two of these. One is yours, one is mine, but they're both the same. Pokemon White.
Signed.
Both signed by Junichi Masuda.
Yes.
Incredible figure in Pokemon development through the years. We worked on so many Pokemon games and had such a great opportunity to get to know him and sign
Made him curry.
our games here.
This one was a really fun project that you and I worked on together. We had some real, we were battling the elements quite literally during that launch, but it was so much fun. I have such fond memories of not only playing Pokemon Black and White, but also working on this game with you.
Right.
And my baby Tepig, my baby starter Tepig.
And we do have, here is just an untouched Pokemon White. Of course.
Sealed.
Of course we have that. This one is sealed, yes. Shall remain sealed, and then
we have a signed Pokemon Black.
Signed Pokemon Black. Obviously, the cover is black, so he signed this with like a silver pen. But maybe you can get a better look at his signature there with all the sort of musical notes on it.
Amazing.
Really a cool signature by him.
Yeah, what a cool thing.
I miss Pokemon Black and White. Those were great games.
I really do too. Yeah.
Obviously, they did sequels. So here is Pokemon Black version 2. We do not have White version 2 for some reason. I don't know why.
What happened to Pokemon White
Don't ask me why. We don't have it.
But we did have the Black 2.
And then
another sealed.
A couple more. These are both sealed.
Both sealed.
Of original Pokemon Black.
Yeah. Again, we worked on these games, so we got them.
Right, and they would just give us you need to have both versions because you need to know about these games. So again, have a game.
Have it.
Sure.
Get it.
Thanks.
Take it. I'll take it.
Couple spin-offs. We have Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, Explorers of the Sky.
Again, I kind of liked it.
This one's mine. This is not my favorite series, so this one is still sealed.
Played mine.
Shall remain. I know a lot of people want them to bring back Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, I think they should.
Maybe one day.
A smaller little experience.
Game that was more my speed
this one is good.
Pokemon Conquest.
I like this one a lot.
An interesting mashup of Pokemon and, the sort of like Nobunaga's ambition types of characters. Obviously, Koei Tecmo was very involved in this.
Of course.
different kind of like strategic battling as well. This was really great. Oh, look at this. It says on the back, also playable on Nintendo DS, game screen in 2D. So they were
Nintendo 3DS.
Excuse me. Yes, they were also trying to emphasize that you could do backwards compatibility.
There you go.
Because this was a bit of a later gen game on the Nintendo DS, but this is a well-deserved cult classic.
Yes, this one does hold up. I think
this is really good.
Can replay this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, my favorite thing.
That's
ever.
enough of Pokemon. That's all the Pokemon games that we've got.
That's a lot of Pokemon.
These two stacks are all first-party Nintendo games, so let's go through those. We have Animal Crossing Wild World.
I love this game. I love this game so much. I play this game so much. Please, please, Nintendo, bring it back.
Really amazing how much game they shrunk down on the DS that you could play and felt really true to the Animal Crossing experience.
Yeah.
Had online play, which was, again, for the time, like what? I can do that?
Very ahead of its time.
My gosh.
Yes.
And just a very nice, chunky aesthetic that I like.
I kind of like it. It's very cute.
Yeah.
They introduced a lot of characters too in this one, which I loved.
Yeah, this was really cool.
So good.
Next up, we have Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, and we actually have
sealed copy of that.
One sealed, one opened here. No, Golden Sun fans were happy that the first couple games came out on NSO.
Yeah.
This one maybe we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see, but really a huge dedicated fan base for Golden Sun.
Yeah. Maybe you'll make a comeback.
We have Tetris DS. This is such a good version of Tetris. I have heard this version goes for a lot of money. And I think it's well deserved because it's just such a good, there's so many different modes. Look at this. You can do 10-player multiplayer.
That's amazing.
With a single card download play. Oh my gosh.
The days of download play, right?
Yeah, and then look, you could they had designs of 8-bit Nintendo characters.
Like Donkey Kong and stuff.
You can just tell there's so much personality.
There's a little Mario right in the front.
Sometimes you get Tetris, it's that's just Tetris, but this was no, this is Nintendo Tetris. It's so good.
Ooh.
Another great puzzle game.
This is a great game.
Planet Puzzle League. A lot of great puzzle games on Nintendo DS.
So many great puzzle games.
We've got more later on. The stylus, having two screens, and look, this was one of those games where you held it kind of book style.
Right.
Made a big difference with puzzle games.
That's right.
We've got
Advance Wars.
Advance Wars Dual Strike. I would say maybe not as good as the GBA Advance Wars, but still, this is before things got a little weird. The Advance Wars game that came after this one, I don't have. Was it Days of Ruin? This still had the kind of fun,
cartoony style.
It's fun war. It's not bad war. It's fun.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, this is a series I really want them to bring back. Custom Robo.
I want them
so
to bring
fun.
this back.
There's a GameCube Custom Robo game as well, but you make your little Robo guy.
Yeah.
And you do these sorts
of
little battles, but there's so many little parts and pieces to choose from. Really, really fun. It's been a while since we've seen a custom Robo
I haven't
game.
heard of a peep of custom Robo for a long time.
All right, we've got a couple Starfy games. This is just the legendary Starfy, open and
sealed. We both worked on this game at Nintendo. Yes, there was a Starfy costume character that was ridiculous.
Very strange.
And I loved it.
We haven't had a lot of proper Starfy games in the US. This is one of the few. Starfy lives on in stuff like Smash Brothers, but I think some people are still holding out hope.
I'm holding out hope for a Starfy Kirby crossover.
Well, maybe you're holding out hope for that game in Japanese because we have that.
We did buy this together at the retro store.
We picked this up doing some random game shopping, and they had this game in Japanese. That's a cool one. We should grab that.
Yeah, especially since we worked on this game together. We were like, it'd be fun to have the Japanese version too.
I don't have a ton of import games, but this is one of the few.
Mario Kart DS.
Another absolute classic, Mario Kart DS. This is also, I put in the same category as Animal Crossing of wow, they really brought...
They packed it all in here.
The full Mario Kart experience.
Into this tiny handheld.
This was one of the first online games for the DS, just so ahead of its time, and I know there's a really dedicated fan base for this version particularly. Snaking, this had snaking.
The snaking. This was the one with the snaking.
Don't do that. People
or
won't
maybe
like
do
that.
it.
Glory of Heracles is a lesser known game.
This game strangely got like a really big budget at Nintendo for marketing, so we were like forced to do a lot with it. It kind of had promise, but it didn't quite.
I think we had kind of big heads at that time. Like, hey, we can make anything into a hit. So not a big, Nintendo franchise, but we did work on this game.
Yeah, we tried to do a lot with this game, and it was a little tough.
And Nintendo put this game out, so we got it.
This is one of my favorites.
We have Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. I
love this game.
When we did our last video, I did not have the 3DS version, but I do have the original. I played this one all the way through.
Me too.
Super good.
Funny.
Maybe the best Mario and Luigi game.
This one and Dream Team is probably the two best ones, in my opinion. But I just love this one. It's like, I think this is the funniest one.
I think you could make a case for that.
Funniest one, yeah.
We have Yoshi's Island DS. I didn't play this version a ton.
This is one of those versions, or this is one of those Yoshi's Island games where the levels were just, again, a little too long. And I couldn't finish it, but I did play a good chunk of it.
Then let's move on.
Oh,
we have Kirby
I love this one.
Mass Attack, where the kind of the gimmick here is you got a whole bunch of Kirbys. Gather a mob of Kirbys, it says. Wow.
More Kirbys, more power, it says.
That's a lot. Got a really cool kind of still that 2D, fully 2D aesthetic.
It was a lot of stylus tapping.
A lot of tapping around there.
A lot of tapping.
Yep.
Speaking of tapping.
We got Rhythm Heaven.
Tap into the rhythm.
Sealed and opened.
Ooh, this one.
This is just a super great game.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we had a Rhythm Heaven game.
I know.
For goodness sakes,
and this
please.
one, also you can hold it this way, like book style.
Right.
And there's a lot of like flicking. Remember we did a lot of
different
cool
motions.
Motion.
To do.
Yeah.
That says on the back, tap, flick, and slide to the beat.
I remember like that was like a very satisfying thing to do in the game.
And so much great music in this game. Yeah. All right, we have some Layton.
Some of my favorite Layton games are on DS.
Do these in. So you think Layton? What is the first Layton game?
Diabolic.
I am not a Layton fan, so I am not knowledgeable.
This was my first Professor Layton game. I think is.
Is this the first?
If it's not the first, is one of the first.
It was your first. That's what matters.
It was my first. Okay. And that's what matters. I remember falling completely head over heels in love with the Layton series, playing this game. I absolutely loved.
Professor, I've got it.
Professor! Our good
said.
Friend Luke. And then I believe it's Unwound Future.
Oh, Unwound Future is next. I have that sealed. I have that sealed.
Maybe or maybe not.
I had my taste of Layton by that point.
Yeah, you were not really into it.
I said, thank you, I'll take it, but I won't play it.
Yeah, I worked on all of these games.
Right,
we had a Professor Layton tea party where an infamous thing that I won't talk about here happened to me.
Oh.
Oops.
A wardrobe malfunction happened.
There was a wardrobe malfunction.
Not on Layton.
Not on Layton.
On a lady.
Thankfully, on somebody else.
Next, we have Layton and the Last Spectre. Also a little side of Professor Layton's London Life. Do you remember that?
Yes, London Life.
This one is opened, and this one's mine.
This one introduces what's her name?
Maybe I wanted a taste of that London life. I don't know.
You wanted a spot of tea.
More puzzles than ever before.
Oh boy.
If you say so. We have Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon.
Yes.
I remember this was like maybe the second game I ever worked on at Nintendo.
Yep. Did we make the big sword for this one? I believe so.
Oh yeah.
I think you know who has the big sword now is Mike Sue.
Okay.
Yeah, he took it as a memento when he left. He said he's not going to sell it. He's just going to have it.
All right.
But it's a heavy sword.
It's a real sword.
We used to play with it as a prop, remember?
And
it was very, very dangerous.
Don't play with that. Yeah, very cool. This is kind of when we started to get more Fire Emblem games.
That's true.
We've got Zelda Spirit Tracks.
I
don't super love the DS Zelda games.
I don't really.
I had Phantom Hourglass. I no longer have it because I didn't feel like I needed it.
Didn't like it.
This one was interesting with the train stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody likes it out there.
There's one good song in that.
All right.
in that game.
We have Mario versus Donkey Kong. What is the Mini Land Mayhem? There have been so many of these games that it's hard to keep track of. It's fine. Yeah. Moving on.
These two games.
So we have two really interesting ones here.
Yeah.
We had this whole personal trainer line.
Yeah.
So this is personal trainer cooking.
Right.
Where you can literally use it as a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. It's a step-by-step interactive cookbook. And we did this like ridiculous event where we got media to come in to actually like cook at a cooking school. So that was one of my, kind of unique events that I've worked on, like literally cooking.
I mean, there's some interesting stuff in this. Like it breaks it down step by step because your hand might be busy, cutting stuff. You can use a voice command.
Commands.
Say,
continue.
Next. So interesting idea.
Some of the recipes in there were legit really good though.
Remember, they had the Touch Generations line, which was kind of the non-games as they were known at the time.
Yeah.
Another great non-game.
Oh, this is great.
Well, you can debate whether it's great. Is personal trainer walking.
With the walking accessory.
I, for one, need to learn how to walk, so this is perfect for me. Yes, it came with the activity meter.
The activity meter, yeah.
Not to be confused.
Free Apple Watch.
Don't get confused with the Poke Walker.
No.
But it was basically, similar to what you get on a phone now of tracking your steps.
Or like a Fitbit or something.
Right.
I remember we hired a walking expert. And I laughed so hard because I was like, what does an walking expert tell you? Like put one foot in front of the other? How to walk and chew gum at the same time? But this was an era of very like zany marketing because we had a lot of these non-games.
The non-games.
Yeah, right. Very interesting. Ooh, the next one.
We got 2 Picross games.
Classic.
Picross DS.
So many hours.
I mean, there are a lot of
many
Picross
hours.
Games, but this is kind of the official Nintendo one. Great, but even greater.
Oh, yeah.
Picross 3D.
Oh.
So good.
Iconic.
Incredible. People in the office, nothing got done.
I don't think anyone worked for weeks.
People were obsessed with this. People were addicted to this.
We were addicted.
More of this, please.
People be in meetings and playing Picross.
Remember, there is a sequel of this that's on 3DS, but it's download only. What a crime. What a crime. We have a couple
so good.
WarioWare games. We have WarioWare Touched. I played a lot of this game.
This was like a launch game, right? For original DS? I remember playing this at a demo station in a Fry's Electronics.
Oh boy.
Before I got my little mitts on my first DS Fat when I wasn't even at Nintendo
It's definitely before my time, and I remember playing this so much.
This was the game that made me fall in love with the DS because I remember thinking, what a dumb system Nintendo came out with. This touchscreen seems so stupid, and then I played that game, and I was like, oh, just kidding.
We also
this is
have
awesome.
WarioWare DIY. Feel how heavy this game is.
It's so heavy.
There's a huge instruction manual in here. And yeah, I think this is kind of an unsung, really interesting idea of
making your own. Yeah.
It's definitely not for everybody.
Right.
But you could, share games, get games that people made online. Mm-hmm. A good precursor to things like a Mario Maker. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Really interesting idea there. Ooh. We have, we're wrapping up our first party with a couple Fossil Fighter games. We have the original Fossil Fighters. And
you went to the La Brea Tar Pits in LA for this game.
We did. We sent media a game enclosed in a fossil that you had
to
chisel
hammer?
out. And then we had Fossil Fighters Champions. It's sealed. I learned my lesson.
The first one was not very good.
There's so many Fossil Fighters games. I'm like really surprised as we go through these again. But,
yeah, they had promise, but they just weren't that fun.
Yeah. All right, third party. And you could argue this is where it really gets interesting. So I used to work at Konami.
Right.
So at the time, in this era, the Castlevania DS games were hot stuff. These games are so good. This is one of my personal all-time favorite Castlevania games, Dawn of Sorrow. I have it sealed and opened. The open version is signed by Koji Igarashi, aka Iga.
Did he have a whip when he signed it?
He sometimes carried a whip, and he wore this sort of Indiana Jones hat a lot of the time.
I remember that, and that big long coat.
Super cool guy.
So cool.
So passionate about Castlevania. I'm so upset that they aren't making these games anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But
protect the signed version.
This is great. The next game that came, there were 3 Castlevania DS games. The next after that was Portrait of Ruin. Mm-hmm. We have once again opened
and
sealed. There we go.
Whoa.
This had an interesting kind of, swapping between characters. Mechanic was an interesting time period. I liked this one. Some people don't like this one as much as Dawn of Sorrow. I have a soft spot for it.
This one I thought was really hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it would be very challenging.
And then lastly,
of course, this one.
If you thought it was hard, Order of Ecclesia. This is the actual
This is
hard
the one that I really liked, but I thought it was really hard too.
You may be getting confused.
Oh, maybe this is the one that I.
This one
is
is
the hard
this one is quite challenging.
Okay, maybe then this is the one I was.
And I've actually never finished this one, and it felt a little bit different from the others.
Yeah.
Different main character, definitely feeling a little bit different. And then this was kind of the end of the Iga era at Konami. This one
Yeah.
came out shortly after I had left Konami. But
Yeah.
all three of these games, like these have not really been re-released
Right.
in any way yet because of the dual screen stuff. So
Very
I am
precious.
very happy that I have those.
Yeah, and you have them sealed, which is
In multiple
amazing.
iterations. Okay, amazing
Meteos.
series here.
Oh, this
We
is
have
such a good game.
Meteos. This is a Sakurai game.
It is.
Believe it or not. This is one of the best puzzle games
Ever made.
Ever made.
Absolutely.
Use the touchscreen to kind of combine them and launch them off into the
Yes.
sky. Really, really fun.
If you haven't played Meteos, you need to play
Multiplayer.
Meteos now.
Well, you might need to drop hundreds of dollars on eBay to do that, but I don't know why they haven't brought this back. This would be a great game for your phone.
This would be
phone.
a great mobile game.
Put this on phones.
This would also be a great little Switch game. You know,
You need a touchscreen. You need.
Oh, you have to. Have
you
a
need a
Well,
touchscreen for this.
The handheld has a touch screen.
They're not gonna do that.
Oh.
Also, some people don't know this. Meteos Disney Magic.
That's a great one. I can't believe you have this game. That's so
I
awesome.
got this so Nintendo would have these events. They called it a garage
Garage
sale,
sales,
where it's
yeah.
like come clear out the stuff that we need to get rid
Yeah.
of. I bought this immediately. I was like,
Right.
oh, give me that. I made a
Yes.
beeline for that.
Oh man, it's so good. It's
not,
so random.
Not as iconic to me as the original,
But good to have it.
I'm glad they made more.
Oh,
Okay.
my favorite Dragon Quest
So
game of all time is coming up.
We have a big stack of Dragon Quest games because we worked on a lot of Dragon Quest
This is the one.
at Nintendo. So
Yeah.
we have Dragon Quest 9
Yeah.
on its own. Incredible, incredible game. But we also have it signed by
Yeah,
Yuji Horii.
we
Look at
do.
that.
And we also have the signed slime by Yuji Horii because of this game,
Right.
because we worked on this game.
Right, look at his signature. He drew the
little
slime
slime.
right there. Maybe not as well as Toriyama-san, but he loved it, so he added
It's
that
pretty good.
to his personal signature.
This is one of the best Dragon Quest games ever made.
So Nintendo, published this game, did all the marketing for it. We tried as hard as we could. We spent a lot of money.
We did.
Maybe it didn't,
I don't care.
Maybe it didn't get as big as we wanted.
We worked really
We tried
hard on
hard.
this game, and
Yeah.
I had so much fun working on this game, and I was so deep in this game. How many hours did you and I spend in
It's
that metal
hundreds.
slime dungeon?
I mean, it's hundreds. They should re-release this.
This game is so
Please,
good, you guys.
please. The
Oh my
multiplayer is
gosh.
sublime.
It's so good. We
So-
played so many hours of this game.
Let's go
Oh
in
my
order
gosh,
here.
look
So
at
we
this
have Dragon Quest 5. So they did do a number of re-releases.
Right.
Of the older Dragon Quest games, many of which, had kind of a weird history of getting released in the
Yeah.
US. So Dragon Quest 5, but are still absolute classics. We have Dragon Quest 5 here for Nintendo DS. And then we have Dragon Quest 6, Realms of Revelation.
Yep. We worked on this game too.
This one is sealed because the other version I have is also signed,
It's signed,
by
yeah.
Yuji Horii.
Yeah. He came again to the
He
US.
wanted to come to the
Yeah.
US to promote this game because he's like, this is a great game,
Yeah.
and we want to push it. So he came out. We got to hang out with him again, and got a.
It was fun because we took him around here, which is our home turf.
He was in California with us.
Yeah, and we took him to a GameStop in Palo Alto, which is just minutes from where we live, and we took him to some great wineries
Yeah.
here, and we had a grand old time with
Yeah.
Hori's.
Oh, also
Horii.
signed by I forget the name of the other guy who came with him, the other developer, who I think
yes.
is another big shot in Dragon Quest these days. I'll have to double check who
look
that
at-
is,
look
but
up
he's
the name.
he's got another
little
drawing on it as well.
Yeah, it's so cute.
We have Dragon
Quest
Quest
Monsters. Yeah.
2. This is a very solid spin-off of the Dragon Quest series.
Love that.
So that's all the Dragon Quest.
This one.
Okami Den.
Oh, come.
Really, really great take on the Okami series. They don't make Okami games anymore.
Oh my gosh, make him an Okami game, please.
They did such a good job of translating the art style of Okami to the DS with
They really
the limited
did.
hardware. This
Yeah.
is super good. And then
This is the game that you get confused with another game.
I don't get this confused with anything. Absolute Nintendo DS cult classic.
Henry
Hatsworth. They would never make a game like this by
No.
EA making a puzzle game with a puzzle/platform game starring an old man with a
sad.
cup of tea. Are you kidding me? This
This
would
is
never
why
get
we
made.
need these kinds of smaller experiences.
This would never
guys.
get made. But when I'm so interested in genre mashups. Like when I heard about this, I was like, I gotta check this out.
Yeah,
this is
it's a great game.
It is super good.
Super fun.
We have
more.
another Konami game, Lunar Nights.
I don't think I've ever played this game.
Look at that. Kojima Productions from the creators of the Metal Gear Solid series.
Okay.
So this is a spiritual successor to Boktai, the game that used the solar
I remember
sensor.
the solar sensor, yes.
We obviously don't have that, but still kind of that same mechanic of daytime and nighttime. Some really great artwork.
That's really cool.
Very different from Metal Gear Solid, but this was a really, passion project for Kojima, and I had the chance to work on this, which was very cool.
The passion projects are the best projects, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Another Konami game, Contra 4.
Wow.
Made by WayForward.
That's right.
So you know it is legit, and they kind of did this cool thing where they spread some of the levels across the two screens so they feel really big and tall.
Tall, yes.
Yeah, that's very neat.
Oh boy, this one.
Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
Very strange how this game has been released over the years, but this is one of the better versions.
Yes.
You just played through this recently.
I just played recently through this on my 3DS, but the DS version of the game, and it still 100% holds up in 2024.
Absolute classic.
It's a classic.
Got a bunch of Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah.
This is maybe feel how heavy this is.
This is another manual situation.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, really heavy.
So this is Final Fantasy 3. They did these DS versions of Final Fantasy 3 and 4 in this kind of chibi but fully 3D art style. And this was another one that was kind of hard to play in the US before. So this was kind of a special thing of like, oh wow, we can finally
play it now.
Experience this. It's really good, looks really nice. You can tell they put a ton of effort into that. But I love Final Fantasy 4. Look at that
cover art.
Look at that box art. It's
so
nice
cool.
and shiny.
Yeah.
This is just, such a fun retelling of this game. This is one of my favorite games ever. I think they re-released this version on the PC as well, but the same thing where it's got that kind of, chibi art style, but they were really pushing the tech of the DS.
Yeah, to the max.
Super hard. They also have some pre-rendered cutscenes to kind of take it all to the next level. Love that. We have a Crystal Chronicles game. Did you know?
Yes.
They kept making Crystal Chronicles be on the GameCube.
That's
so this is Ring of Fates. Similar idea, action-oriented RPG, but a really fun multiplayer game.
There's a Wii Crystal Chronicles game as well.
There's a lot of, there's more than you might be surprised at how many Crystal Chronicles games there are.
Oh, this is a classic game.
You gotta have Harvest Moon.
You gotta have a Harvest Moon.
That's all I have to say about that.
We still have a little cow in the office from Harvest Moon. We love Harvest Moon.
Iconic series on the DS. Wonderful.
Oh, Might and Magic.
This is super good. Might and Magic, Clash of Heroes.
Yeah.
Kind of a puzzle meets army battling game.
Yes.
I think they just re-released this on modern consoles. If you haven't played this, you should get this game.
Yeah, it's really good.
Super great. Another kind of fun mashup of ideas that is just unexpected, but really, really good.
Another classic.
Cooking Mama.
That was like a bygone era, these types of games,
This game was like kind of viral in its moment.
And then it spun off with a lot of other different kinds of games in the same genre.
I mean, there ended up being so many Cooking Mama games.
That's right.
In the end.
Then it sort of we passed that era,
I never felt this was super fun to play, but I was like, this is definitely different and interesting.
I liked it, but you don't like these kinds of games, these kinds of time management.
I can cook in real life.
Okay.
Now this one's strange. I don't know why I have this. USA Today Crosswords clearly bought secondhand, but look closely. What does the label say?
Sudoku Gridmaster?
This ain't Sudoku Gridmaster. No, this is USA Today Crosswords.
But it's also $16.99. It's expensive.
I'm confused at why I have this. Let's move on.
Give it to you?
Oh. N+. Have you ever played this?
I think so, yes.
Super good. This is available on other platforms as well, but it's kind of like a minimalist, of challenge-oriented platformer where you have hyper control over your character.
Right.
Really, really fun. We've got Dragon Ball Origins. Why do I have this? So I later worked at Namco Bandai.
Okay.
And I remember I went to a Tokyo Game Show where our booth was right next to the booth where this was getting shown. And I had to watch and listen to the trailer loop for several days straight. And by the end,
you were voice acting as Goku?
I was Stockholm Syndrome. I was like, hey, that game looks good. I should buy it. So I have it.
It worked on you.
Yeah.
It was like subliminal messaging.
It's not bad. Tamagotchi made a comeback in
On
this
the
era.
DS,
Did you know that?
Oh yeah, I
It
played
did.
these games.
So we have Tamagotchi Connection. This is, these are out of order.
Tamagotchi Connection. And
Corner
then the
Shop 1, Corner Shop 2, and Corner Shop 3.
Wow.
These are fun.
These are really fun.
These are actually very fun. I don't know what happened to this style of Tamagotchi, this era of Tamagotchi. I don't know. I would be interested to give these a look if they brought this back.
Mobile, maybe? Some sort of mobile situation?
Give it a shot.
Tamagotchi would be good.
Let's try that. Oh, I love this one.
Oh, yeah.
This is another from my Namco days. Pack and roll. So the idea of this is Pac-Man is just a ball and you flick him around using the stylus. And it's like a platformer, but the whole mechanic is you rolling and flicking him around. And it gets really fun.
It's got some hats, got some stuff going on.
They have, you can get different like power-ups. They really had a lot of good ideas for this game. I like this one a lot.
That's a good way to like use the Pac-Man IP in a different way.
Right. Retro Game Challenge. This was based on the TV show in Japan Game Center. CX, I think. Kind of surprised that they brought this out over in the West, but it was, even back then it was like kind of notorious as this cool thing. So I had to grab it and check it out, and I'm glad I do. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You might say this looks like licensed garbage.
And it is?
I beg to differ.
Oh, it's not?
This is actually a really fun beat 'em up.
Okay.
I was telling the story of the last game of the Star Wars prequels. I like this a lot.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of the kind of license jank going for it, but for the most part, this is actually quite good.
All right.
I will vouch for it.
Have you ever played this game? Because
Rune Factory?
We always talk about playing Rune Factory.
Rune Factory, what is the fine print? A Fantasy Harvest Moon. I've been interested in this series for a long time now, as you can tell. I think this is another one that I picked up at a Nintendo garage sale.
But you probably didn't play this game.
And I said, I'll definitely play that. And then decades later, I still haven't played it.
I knew it.
But I have it. What do you have to say for yourself?
I have to say,
not so much.
Peggle. Love this game. Peggle is a great game.
Peggle is dangerously addictive.
Yes, it is.
I mean that in a really serious way. Like,
be careful with the Peggle.
Peggle is available on phones and tablets and stuff, I think, these days. But the DS version is really good. You get very super precise aiming your ball. And Peggle was like hot stuff for a while. This is Peggle Dual Shot. DS for short. We have Geometry Wars Galaxies.
Oh my gosh, Geometry Wars.
Some shiny stuff happening on this,
Rainbow.
Geometry Wars has such an interesting kind of history over the years of how it started as like a side game and then became its own thing. And, in the early days of like Xbox Live Arcade, like this was the game to get. And they did, make it into its own thing. Yeah. So I think there's also a Wii version.
That's right.
Of Geometry Wars Galaxies, and this one I think you were using the touchscreen to aim. This is like surprisingly a very fleshed out experience.
It's a pretty good game, yeah.
It's pretty good. Another one of my Japanese games from Konami. I remember when I went to Japan for a trip for Konami, I was just looking at some stuff, and it's like, oh, I like Goemon, I like Mystical Ninja. I'll pick this up. I haven't really played it. A lot of Japanese text, but...
And?
This is also the funny thing they would do, where it was
they wrote like...
It was like
price
the Konami's best, and then it's like a box within a box.
Yeah.
They were doing some of that stuff.
It's like Nintendo Selects kind of thing.
2,900 yen, sure. Whatever you say.
Bleach. Anime game. Also from your Namco days, I bet.
No, this is a Sega game.
Oh, Sega.
And I'm not into Bleach, but this is a really cool fighting game that has kind of... some maybe Smash-ish elements to it. You can do like four people at once battling all together. Look at how big the characters are on the screen. They have giant swords.
Again, using that dual screen, right?
I got suckered by the giant swords, and I said, I need to check that out.
And was it good?
It's okay.
All right.
That's my verdict.
All right. Naruto.
Shippuden Shinobi Rumble.
Whoa.
I was the Naruto guy for a couple of years at Namco. We were not putting out the games on Nintendo DS, but I had to get familiar with what the competition was doing. We were putting out games on PlayStation. That was the license that we had. These are interesting. They're fun. Yeah, I like Naruto. Puzzle Quest 2.
This is such a good game.
Puzzle Quest is so good.
Yeah.
They're still making Puzzle Quest, but it's very like mobile microtransaction-y, I feel.
Too bad, because on DS it was like such a good experience.
Puzzle Quest 1 and 2 were peak.
I think so, yeah.
I played Puzzle Quest 1 on the PSP.
Oh.
But I got Puzzle Quest 2 on the DS. Amazing.
Like, amazing.
Amazing. Another hopelessly addicted to this kind of game.
Please explain to the good people about this next game.
So this is an interesting one.
It's sealed.
This is a Japanese
100%
one.
sealed.
It's called Dual Love. This is another story from a Tokyo Game Show. So this is a Bandai Namco game.
Okay.
And when I was in the booth at Tokyo Game Show, we had this game on a huge TV. And the gameplay was you use the touchscreen to towel off this young-looking boy who seems to have just emerged from the shower.
Oh boy.
And I thought, well, what's this? And then I looked closer, and it was just this very straight-faced, kind of middle-aged salaryman in a suit playing the game. Like, yep, here we go. Time to get the towel going.
Uh-oh.
And somebody on the team saw me watching this, and afterwards they're like, you looked interested in that game, here's a copy. So I have it. Dual Love.
But you haven't played it.
Well, one day. We have Glory Days 2, not to be confused with Glory Days 1. Even back then, you would scour the internet, like, what are the Nintendo DS hidden gems?
Yeah.
And this was on
one
some
of the
list.
ones. I don't think I played this game.
It's kind of, you're playing like a helicopter, you're attacking stuff, kind of on the ground level. It's okay, I played it a couple times.
Okay.
Maybe not as hidden gemmy as some of this other stuff. Moon, you remember that? This is a very like atmospheric kind of game where you're going into space. It's fine.
Also a movie called Moon. I don't know if
this is not based on that.
It's not based on that.
This predates that. And then our last packaged game, we have Aliens Infestation, which is
interesting.
Again, you might think, well, that's licensed junk.
Because on the back it says "Game Over, Common Man."
Look closer.
Way Forward
Way
again.
Forward made this.
At
so
it again.
This got a really good reputation
Yeah.
of being just like actually a super solid game set in the Aliens universe. I can confirm it's really good. We have some
loose cartridges.
Loose cartridges, or who knows what happened to that.
I don't know what happened to it.
Sonic Chronicles. I remember buying this for you.
You bought this for me.
I don't love Sonic, but I thought, well, maybe you might like this. Again,
it's all right.
Interesting story. This is a Sonic RPG made by BioWare.
That's right.
Which at the time was like, what? Wait, what?
That's a weird
who's
mashup.
making what now? Okay.
I know, right?
Sure.
We have
Art
Academy, of course.
The first Art Academy.
Yes.
You're great at that.
I love this game.
I'm terrible. It's
Well,
fine.
it's for learning. So
I can't even do that.
Bratz, Forever Diamonds.
Bratz Forever Diamonds.
This was
Please
the
explain
pack-in
this.
game for, I believe, for this one.
Oh. Okay, so this came as a bundle.
I think so.
Yes. All right. And we have another interesting one from
Sally's Salon.
Sally's Salon?
This is one of those like overcooked-ish like time management. You run a salon, and I loved these kinds of games.
Made
on
by
DS.
the real player? They make the MP3 player? Oh, okay. Is this fun?
It's really fun.
Oh.
It's very, very fun.
Can confirm. We have Brain Age 2.
Yes. Sure.
We don't have Brain Age 1
We might have
in
Brain
our
Age.
collection.
My mom might have
where is
my
it?
Brain Age 1, actually.
Yeah, and then finally, I thought I'd lost this.
But then we found it.
Metroid Prime Hunters, the demo version that came with the original DS Fat.
Right.
Obviously not the full game. I did have at one point the full game. I didn't love it. I ended up selling it off, but I kept this as sort of a keepsake.
Okay.
So let's look at the hardware that we have.
So we have the DS Lights.
So I do not have the original DS Fat.
I had one, but I do not have it anymore.
We both had it, but
Yeah.
the urge to upgrade to the DS Lite.
It was such a huge difference.
I mean, this is what it should have been from day one.
The form factor of the DS Fat was so bad.
Right.
And so clunky. When you finally got your little mitts on this,
Right.
it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So this one, I think this is the platinum color. I bought this for my mom because again, all these games were telling me give a DS to your mom.
Yeah.
And I gave her that, and I think
This one, you even said it now. You called it platinum colored because when we were launching this hardware, we had a big kerfuffle with our legal team at Nintendo that was like, you can't say platinum on its own
not
because
actually
people
made of platinum.
will think it's made of actual platinum and sue us.
Right.
It's like, what?
So this was the one that I gave my mom, and she played maybe once, and I have it back.
Yeah.
Pink one is very nice shade of pink.
Pink one is nice shade of pink. One of the nicer shades of pink. Like, I wish the pink Joy-Con was this shade
Kind of like
pink.
a Kirby bubble gummy.
Yeah, but like lighter, like more, not like in your face pink.
Right, and I remember I just had the plain white one, which served me well until
and then
we
we
moved
have
up.
these.
DSi XL.
Right.
I had the original DSi, but I needed to move up.
Yeah. That original DSi with that texture, that matte was so uncomfortable and like it made my skin kind of crawl.
I had the black one. There was a blue one.
There was that hospital blue one that was
shade of blue.
I had the white one, but I got really dirty.
Right. But you may remember, like when this was first announced in Japan, they had a lot of marketing around like, hey, if you're elderly, you might love this.
Because the screen is bigger.
The screen is big.
Look at this comparison though. Isn't that nuts?
There was a lot of like, I'm gonna look over your shoulder while you're playing.
So much marketing of over the shoulder.
So this is, I think, one of the original colors that we had here. This kind of
there was also like a
very drab brown.
There's also like a wine burgundy.
Dark.
That's the one that I gave
red.
to my mom.
This one, I think this is one of the best colors Nintendo's ever had of hardware.
Yeah, you like the blue, the dark blue.
This came out around the same time as Dragon Quest IX.
Yeah.
Just such a nice shade. So good.
Yeah.
And yeah, you started to see some of the features that you got in the 3DS.
In the 3DS.
Cameras, downloading games.
Yeah, there's like the Wi-Fi stuff.
All of that. So
I remember reading an Iwata Asks where they talked about this top part where they wanted to look like it had a layer of water on it. And the guy that was working on this almost went insane.
Yeah.
He like lived in China for like 2 years.
I mean, the feel of this is really, really good.
It still feels
I would be glad to play.
Super good, right?
I'm gonna try and turn this on. I've not turned. Well, this one has a problem.
Oh.
I found this on the free table at Nintendo. It was there for a reason. I think this has a bad battery. This is the one that I used. I've not turned this on in like a decade.
Oh, it's not gonna turn on anymore.
Let's see. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Oh!
Shut up!
Amazing.
That's so crazy. Are you serious?
Full bars.
No.
I did not touch this. I did not charge this.
Oh my god, it's totally a work one because it says NOACA XL1. You like took this.
Our department was called Corporate Affairs.
Yeah, Corporate Affairs.
Wow.
Look at the screen, how bright it is.
This is nice.
Joking right now?
Well, pop in a game.
Okay, pop in a game.
So there we go. That is our full Nintendo DS collection.
I'm amazed.
I thought it was going to be hard to top the 3DS collection. I'm pretty hyped going through all this.
It got topped.
We can debate this.
So many signed games, so many like amazing Pokemon games in that collection.
Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, we've done it for 3DS. We've done it for DS. We have more. Do you want to see more?
What do you want to see next?
What do you want to see next? Tell us. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell us what your favorite DS game is in the comments below, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.